Turning back now to North Korea, where Kim Jong-un claims to have test detonated that hydrogen bomb, and the growing criticism of the White House. Time to bring in our political panel, Chris Plante. He's the host of the Chris Plante Show on syndicated talk radio, and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall. She's the host of the Leslie Marshall Show on syndicated talk radio as well. Great to see you both in the new year. So we have this provocation in the new year. Chris, some people are not surprised because they say that this is a feckless administration and that the rogue nations of the world are going to do everything they can to poke a finger at us before Obama's out of office.
Well, weak leadership invites this sort of thing. It invites bad things. We've seen it again and again in country after country. And Ted Cruz made a very important point there, that the reason that the North Koreans have an arsenal of nuclear weapons and are working on ballistic missiles is because the administration of Bill Clinton, I think that's Hillary Clinton's husband, paid them to not build nuclear weapons, and then they went ahead and built nuclear weapons. Barack Obama's administration, Hillary Clinton's administration, is paying the Iranians to not build nuclear weapons, and they're building nuclear weapons. These decisions, these failures, and we're the ones getting the snow job here, have long-term consequences. The Clinton administration sold us a bill of goods over the North Korean deal, and these guys are selling us a bill of goods over Iran.
Leslie, where is he wrong?
Chris, how much time do we have? First of all, a one-sheet deal back in the Clinton administration with North Korea that some would say arguably was sketchy is not P5+1 international community pages that are very specific with regard to the terms and ramifications. Very different, Iran and North Korea, apples and oranges in my opinion. I don't feel you can blame the Clinton administration, and this is why. This leader and his daddy have and did have, and even prior to Bill Clinton, had nuclear weapons. Secondly, we have had since Bill Clinton, who left office in 2000. In 2006, we had not one but 4 separate resolutions against this country by our country. In 2009, our president pressed further to reduce the amount of aid. And right now, with regard to North Korea, this is an example, I think, quite frankly, why bipartisan support has failed with North Korea, because we don't always look at North Korea as one of the axes of evil, because they're not a Muslim nation, because they're not part of the Middle East. So I think this is a failure on current politicians left and right.
Okay, interesting. We could go on and on and on and on this, but I got to get to this, because President Obama's executive actions domestically now on guns, drawing strong opposition, as we all know, from Republicans. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan accusing the president of using the issue to draw attention away from other things.
He's just frustrating the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens, and he wants to distract us also so that we are not looking at his failures, like a failure to confront radical Islamic terror.
Okay, but Chris, here's the thing. The president actually did talk about including mental health into that equation, and the Republicans in Congress basically said, we're not going to take the bait. Was that wrong?
Well, look, this is political gamesmanship. They don't want to talk about all of the myriad failures of this administration that stretch from Libya to Afghanistan to Israel to Western Europe, the refugee crisis to North Korea, the economy. They don't want to talk about illegal immigration. They don't want to talk about their record. They don't want to talk about this administration. And Paul Ryan is absolutely right about that. Now, when it comes to including this language, I would refer people back to August of last year, when Senator Cornyn of Texas worked with the NRA to do exactly what President Obama was talking about yesterday with mental illness and background checks.
Yep. And that's very true, Leslie. So, you know, Cornyn was behind that. But now the Republicans say that they don't want to support at least that part of the executive action of President Obama.
I think this is where we see an election year at stake. I mean, there are people who have their jobs up for grabs, and we know how powerful the NRA is, especially to Republican candidates. And that's really sad for the constituents of the American people in, under Republican constituencies and elsewhere. This is not a political problem. This is an American problem. And I think that we as Americans need to unite with a multifaceted approach. I do not see any violation of the Second Amendment with background checks or expanding background checks. I do agree it's multifaceted. Mental illness is one of many issues that need to be addressed. Gun control is not going to do it all.
It's definitely a multifaceted issue. Chris and Leslie, got to wrap it there. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.